right, so we have one final bowl game to get to, and that's on Tuesday, January 4th. That's the Texas Bowl between 6-6 LSU and 7-5 Kansas State. That's at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. These two teams last played a bowl in 2019. Kansas State lost in the Liberty Bowl to Navy. LSU won it all. Well, despite that, Kansas State is favored here by 3.5 points, over under 48. LSU 4-6 versus bowl teams this year. Kansas State 3-4. Kansas State, a lot of news in this game. Kansas State expects to get quarterback Skylar Thompson back. That's huge. He missed the regular season finale with an injury. Head coach Chris Lyman, he announced that the Wildcats will move on from offensive coordinator Courtney Messingham and tight ends coach Jason Ray. Former Kansas State quarterback Colin Klein, Colin with 2 L's. Colin, there's one, will serve as the interim offensive coordinator. And LSU just has tons of question marks all over. Max Johnson recently announced that he'll enter the transfer portal. Miles Brennan did the same, and then he's coming back, but he's out. So their quarterback is Garrett Nussmeier, but he doesn't want to burn his red shirt. They requested a waiver. I don't think it's going to get granted, which means they're going to have a true freshman, a walk-on, or a converted wide receiver at quarterback. And this is an offense that can't run the ball, and it's an offense that's ranked 103rd in sack rate allowed against the Kansas State defense that can really get after the quarterback, and LSU offense will be missing 3 of its top 7 receivers as a couple of them opted out. On the other side of the ball, you have obviously an interim staff with LSU with Brian Kelly coming in. Edo is not coaching the ball. Offensive line coach Brad Davis will serve as the interim. A few assistants have also left. As I mentioned, Butte's out for LSU, their top receiver. Trey Palmer, the other wide receiver, has entered the transfer portal, and one of their other receivers as well. On the defensive side of the ball, their best linebacker, Damone Clark, and their best defensive lineman by far, Neil Farrell, have both opted out to prepare for the NFL. They obviously already lost Ricks at corner. I was reading reports that there's only 55 guys available, including like walk-ons that have practiced recently for LSU, and I expect more opt-outs. Don't know if they even care here. LSU's top look. I mean, when I look at this, LSU's top outside the top 100 EPA per rush. They can't run the ball. And Kansas State, their defensive front, 15th in line yards, 16th in opportunity rate. You can't run on Kansas State. What you can do is throw in Kansas State, but you have a maybe wide receiver playing quarterback. You have, a lot of your receivers are gone. You have an offensive line that struggles in pass protection. That's not a good situation here. And then Kansas State, I think that they're going to be able to move the ball on the ground here. LSU missing a lot of guys on defense. Really good rushing team. Getting Skylar Thompson back will help as well. Kansas State should care. Not sure LSU does. It's worth noting both of these teams are very slow. Kansas State's a super snail. They're like bottom 10 in the adjusted pace. LSU's slightly below average. Kansas State's top 25 in standard down rush rate. They want to run first, play slow. LSU's outside the top 100 in standard down rush rate, but I expect that number to rise. I assume they're going to have to run it a lot here. So this might be an underlook. I love Kansas State. I got them plus 1.5. They're sitting at 3.5 point favorites here. I'd take them up to 4. What do you see here?
That's a good number on Kansas State. And for me, it all comes down to Garrett Nussmeier and what the NCAA is going to do with his waiver. And you want to think about, with Miles Brennan coming back, it's really an interesting dynamic because Coach O was so involved.
Well, then you have this 5-star Walker Howard coming back too.
Yeah. Coach O was so involved with Nussmeier's family about what the schedule was for him to play and whether he's going to and how he's going to play his 4 games, where he's going to play his 4 games, because they didn't want to burn his red shirt whatsoever. No matter how many injuries to Max Johnson and Miles Brennan there was, Nussmeier's family was heavily involved in what games he was going to play because they didn't want to burn the red shirt. Now all of a sudden we're requiring the waiver. They don't get the waiver. Nussmeier's not playing. And that means you're not going to be able to take advantage of a Kansas State defense that's 93rd in passing success rate. You're not going to be able to take advantage of a defense that's outside the top 100 in standard downs explosiveness. Nussmeier's arm is just a cannon. He is going to be somebody to keep eyes on. And I don't know if he's coming back to the LSU program. So if he gets the waiver, obviously he wants to play before he goes in the portal to hopefully catch the eyes of a coach that'll start him right away. If he doesn't get the waiver, he's probably gone anyways. So I think the handicap and the total is completely dependent on the waiver for Garrett Nussmeier.
I doubt he gets it from what I've read.
Yeah, and I read an article like 15 minutes ago. Like there's still no decision, and I don't think we're going to get a decision. And it's crazy how the NCAA sorts their mail. I'm not even sure how that process even works. So
well, Garrett Nussmeier for the Texas Bowl is probably not at the top of their list.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is, I think, you have to, what is the drop off from Max Johnson down to possibly a wide receiver running Wildcat this entire game? This is a game I would have made a pick. So if you think 3.5 points is what Max Johnson is worth, then the number is fair market value. I happen to think that LSU has absolutely nothing to play for, but some of the individual players have motives like Nussmeier does to probably get in the portal and get a job somewhere else. So, for me, if Nussmeier plays, I'm not going to back Kansas State. And I think the total, which hasn't moved at all, is completely dependent also on him. If he doesn't play, it's a dead shot under 100%. If he does play, then there's more of a chance that, the passing downfield, you can take advantage of Kansas State. You can take advantage of their very poor 115th in tackling. Chris Klieman gets his teams ready for postseason play. In the postseason, including time he was at North Dakota State, he's 11-6-1 against the spread in postseason play. So he knows how to get his teams prepared. I want Kansas State in the spot, but I won't do it if Nussmeier is playing. If Nussmeier is playing, then I won't be taking an under, and I won't be taking Kansas State. If he's not playing, I'm definitely taking an under 48, 100%.